Welcome, gamers, to Super Beard Bowl Season 2. Each month, we're doing an all-new 8-episode series complete with a beginning and an end, as voted on by you, our loyal viewers. Without paying a single penny, everyone who watches will be able to vote on one of 4 show ideas, and once you narrow it down from 4 to 2, the Beard Bowl Patreon tier will then choose between the top 2, or which show gets made into a full 8-episode series. This month, the winning series is... Well, we just picked a bunch of games we like to relax to, and we're gonna play those games and answer questions from you guys. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy.
A small percentage of people may experience seizures when exposed to certain lights, patterns, or images, even with no history of epilepsy or seizures. Please exercise caution if you plan to keep watching and you have a history of photosensitivity or think you may be susceptible to such.
It's Comfort Games, Warriors Woods, Ted. We're here.
I'm back.
Ted.
We're back. Ted's on the sticks, and like now, Ted, that you've showed us the game that you like to relax with, you're about to show us like a part of this game that you can't really relax that much with because it's like way harder. Is that what's up?
So this is the next stage from the last episode.
Okay.
I have 4 files.
What?
That I've been working on for many years.
Oh,
and what I will do is cycle through them when I fail.
Okay.
Oh.
And if I fail one too much, like I don't get a new stage and save state, I will take a death to like recycle how the minions are organized in the beginning.
This is the most Ted thing I've seen in a while.
This is the real shit, guys. Do you know that the human brain can only process 110 bits of information at once? And that
that's an interesting thing. Okay.
And that listening to someone takes 60.
Interesting. Okay.
60.
So true happiness, according to some people, just comes from finding a skill that you have enough skill at, but with an adequate challenge that you essentially just like forget that you exist.
So you're talking about you're talking about like a Resident Evil puzzle, right? So if you have you said 110, right?
Yeah. So
you're talking about like one of those Resident Evil puzzles where like you don't want to go under, you don't want to go above, you want to hit that 110 perfectly. Is that what you're saying?
You want to, well, you don't need to like nail it, but you just need to find that good balance of challenge versus your skill.
Sure.
To make it into something where you're able to do it and it absorbs all your attention so that you can't think about like that pain in your body, in your leg, or whether or not you have COVID or like, any of the other shit that's
like
got you down.
distraction and shit. That makes sense to me, for sure.
Time dilates and it feels gratifying. And I feel like
the zone, the flow state.
Yeah, and I think that's what we're seeing right here, folks.
I don't know. Ted, are you in the zone right now, or are you struggling? What's up?
No, I'm in the zone. I'll do this like when I'm waiting for renders or audio like effects to take hold.
I'm gonna let you know, I am fucking mesmerized.
Yeah, it's exactly what I want from a puzzle game.
I don't really know what the fuck I'm looking at, but Ted, good job.
Like every time you do that, what you just did, which is like do 2 lines diagonally at once, I'm like, oh!
Like jump down a hole and like kill 6 guys as you fall, like John Wick of Tetris. Yeah.
John Wick of Tetris.
Ted Coonradt.
Yo, by the way, while I'm here, Baba Yaga. While I'm here,
Ted the Yaga.
If you haven't played John Wick Hex, you should. Really,
John Wick fucking spell slinging simulator. What is it?
It's Mike Bithell made a John Wick game, and it's like this like slow. It's like, you know that scene in Sherlock Holmes, Robert Downey Jr., where he like tells you what he's about to do and like breaks it down and analyzes.
You mean the whole movie?
Well, it's like when he's like punching someone and he's like, it's going this fast. I need to do this, this, and this.
Target.
It's like a game where you play through John Wick action sequences at that pace. It's really cool.
So it's
Who made that?
What?
Who made that game?
Mike Bithell.
Huh. All right.
He's like a sort of interesting game designer. Sort of like experimental. You know, he's like there's a very few people out there who genuinely have a reputation of being like a experimental, like artistic game designer first, and he's one of them. And you know, it's crazy that he got the John Wick license to do something so neat with it. But let's get into some questions, right? That's why we're here.
Yeah, the quests.
These questions. What?
The quests. Let's do them.
Oh yeah, the quests. These are from our patrons from the Beard Bowl level. So shout outs to them. This one is from Kenneth Morris. His question is, this question is for anyone that is comfortable.
Ooh.
Pick someone else you work with. Could be TOVG crew or other. What is one aspect of them that has grown in a positive way since you met them?
Wow.
But you never told them you were proud of, even though you noticed.
What an excellent fucking question.
Holy cow.
Wow.
This is just giving people flowers while they're still living. I love it. I love this. Okay. Let's see.
Proud of them.
Let's see. All right, I got one that I can immediately remember. I remember there was a point where it was much harder for Ted to say no to people. But now Ted will be like, no, I'm not going to do that. And I think
like,
that's a
no
good
way.
thing. I think Ted has learned, since I've known him at least, to definitely be more assertive with, like, you know, being able to disappoint people because he doesn't have to say yes to everything. You know what I mean? Ted, can you corroborate that? Does it feel that way or no?
Yeah, it does definitely feel that way.
What if Ted was like, no, I don't know what you're talking about?
No way.
No, it doesn't. You know what? It doesn't. I don't think I do that.
Yeah, I love this question.
You know what? I'm gonna say Alex Faciane. I think when I met Alex, he was someone who didn't take criticism very well. And then when I say criticism, I mean like genuine criticism, not like internet fuck you troll stuff. Like Alex comes from theater improv where like notes are a huge thing, but like when you feel like you're a professional in your field, you kind of feel that apex of, oh, I've learned enough. I know my craft. I know what I'm doing. And Alex, when I first met you, you were someone who was like very proud of your work, very, very interested in your work, and also like not like prideful of your work in a way where it was annoying, but it was like you were very much like, I know what I'm doing right, so I don't need to listen to anyone else because I know what to do. But I think as you've taken a leadership role in the company and you've like learned more and dealt with so many more people, you've gotten really great at being able to distill that like feedback doesn't necessarily mean criticism of you. It more or less means like the overall system needs feedback and that you're a facilitator of that system. So you don't take it personally at all, and you're able to think a lot more systematically speaking, which I think lets you have more peace because you're not sitting there being like, oh, why doesn't this person like me? You're just like, oh, this person doesn't like how this is being done or this system. And I think that's to be able to decipher that is huge. And I think you excelled at that really well.
Okay, first
Speaking
of all,
of excel, speaking about that is funny. I was waiting for it. But speaking of excelling, did you just beat a stage you've been trying to beat for a while, dude?
I beat a stage.
How long have you been trying to beat that one, do you think?
Well, all of these dates are accurate.
Oh, well,
I think some of these I took deaths on, but
I see.
So a while.
That was crazy, though.
Yeah.
Shout outs to that, though. I feel you, though, Jirard. I see you. I hear you. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I think in my personal life as like a creative person, right? Like a lot of the things that I focus on in terms of like output are, you know, I'm a writer primarily, where, or yeah, like Jirard said, like a comedian on stage where like, you know, the list of credits of people involved is like 4, 2, just me, right? And in those situations, you know, I'm very much about just like getting the vision out that you imagine, right? But I think, something that's important to learn about the process of working in an entertainment field like this, especially one with such a demanding release schedule, like the amount of footage that we put out in a week is like insane, right? It's an effort that is only judged by looking at the effort of the group as a whole, and I think that more than it's about for me, like a problem with criticism, like I think I was just completely looking at the whole situation incorrectly. I think that more important even than whether or not anybody's vision is getting realized is making sure that everybody on the team is like in a good spot mentally, and that everybody feels like when they're working together that they're like getting things done and that they have worth and that it matters. And I think like that's really the secret to like managing, like being like a movie director or something, I bet, is like managing that element of it, being like a good leader, like being a good captain of the team, and realizing that you're never going to get your vision out there as a group. It's got to be you're translating your group through a vision, like through a group vision. It's wild stuff.
Yeah.
I have said this before, but I think it still bears repeating.
Dude, you did it again. You did it again.
Damn.
Oh, damn it.
Wow.
That I'm just constantly impressed / proud that Jirard doesn't he doesn't act like he's been in the game way longer than everybody else, more famous than everybody else combined.
He's the most famous person.
Has all this power and influence, and he's still like, it floors me because it's such a strange like power you have that none of this like makes you a bad person. And with people that they're like, I'm better than you. You can smell it. You can. Oh, it reeks. But I've never gotten that from Jirard, and it constantly impresses me.
Well, it's funny you say that, Ted, because I hear that a lot about myself too, about other people. Like people who don't know me, who meet me for the first time, get that vibe, which is something I try to actively avoid, because like I don't think I'm better than anyone else, and I don't. It's just like,
you're better.
Oh, I know I'm better. No, but it's just we're all people doing this thing, and like that's why when I brought Alex in, I like had no hesitation that like he would just be a great fit, because like I saw the same thing you said. I feel the same. I feel the same way about Alex. Like he exudes that so well. It's just like just being always real and focused, and none of the fame and the glory stuff like mattered. It just was like, we got work to do. We got shit to do, and that's kind of what's kept me focused in that. And it's funny because you read so much online about what people think of you, and you start to believe what they say. So,
yeah, exactly.
And so when you say comments like that, it like reassures me that I am making strides to be better in that way. Just because between all the drama we've had over the years, I definitely have never felt that way about myself. I always felt like I've like struggled to see myself for who I am. So thank you for saying that, because that means a lot to me.
You're welcome.
I was gonna shout out Megan.
Oh yeah, oh my god, I didn't even think of that. That's great.
I wanted to shout out Megan because I feel like, I feel at first it's kind of a daunting thing to come into a culture like ours, which is very like sort of like weird, and like, I don't know, influencer culture and internet culture is very strange, and like finding that Beard Bros sort of vibe. She was there for a little bit before we went into the weird quar, but she's somebody now who I trust, like, you know, to represent us in full. You know what I mean? Like, I would trust her with writing jokes. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like maybe it was daunting to like nail something like the Beard Bros flavor. And I think that she really has like not only adapted to it well, but has also like made her mark on the brand in a way that I like and appreciate, and I think is like made us better. And I think that's like a really cool thing. So shout outs to Megan for like actually like stepping up and contributing like creatively to this team in a very like
not to mention being like a female in a sea of boys.
That like that's a whole other other element of
boys.
Yeah, like we had Dre before, but she was only with us for unlimited time.
Yeah, and she left very soon after.
She was like too many boys in this sea of boys.
I get it. I truly get it. But yeah, shout outs to Megan for like being an indispensable member of the team and, you know, somebody who I really count on.
For real.
Good question. Very good question.
Yeah. Next one's from Ronnie Salami.
All right.
Which is my favorite username. When I was a kid, my first real console was a GameCube, and so I was enraptured. Wow, big word. When I went to a friend's house and saw Pokemon Stadium for the first time, having having until then played Pokemon on the Game Boy. For all of you, what game do you remember seeing at a friend's house for the first time and blowing your mind?
Good question.
Oh, yeah.
Question. This one, I undoubtedly must have been blown away by, you know, Nintendo, you know, Mario 64 and like Zelda. I must have been. I don't have specific memories of that, but it must have blown me away.
Sorry, can you repeat the question again?
Yeah, what was a game that you remember seeing at a friend's house that like blew your mind? Because he was saying he didn't have a main console for a long time till the GameCube, so when he saw Pokemon Stadium on Nintendo 64, he was like, oh shit. Because he'd only seen it on Game Boy up to that point, you know what I mean? So he was wondering if you had a similar experience.
Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
You saw that at a friend's house first?
Yeah, I saw it at a friend. Well, because I played Sonic 2 before, but like I saw Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and it was like, whoa, video games can be like this. They like mount each other, and like there's more content. That's crazy.
Oh, like specifically the lock-on technology.
Yeah, that and just like
Yeah,
the
that
level
makes
design, the music. It just felt so like next level compared to Sonic 2.
Yeah, I mean, it really was. Like, the music in that game is unbelievable. I never, like, my friends, I was like always the kid with the systems.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of my other friends weren't like majorly video game guys.
Right.
Or like played on PC mostly. Like alone, you know, like it wasn't like a social thing like it is now. But there was this business, and it was like a used game store, you know, like a mom and pop style one. But they had this thing that they used to do that was probably illegal looking back on it. But for like $1 every half hour, you could just, they had like systems and TVs in the store, and you could like sit there and like play whatever you wanted, and like they'd even let you like have a memory card if you came enough times.
$1 for a half hour, so if I busted out 2 hours, that's $4. That's not bad at all, dude.
Yeah, you know, I did it all the time because I was so like wowed by it, but I was like afraid to try out the new systems for some reason because I was like a kid and I was like, I don't know, I felt like
so which were the new systems that you were afraid of?
Like PS2, GameCube,
oh,
Xbox
okay.
at the time. And so I would always go there to play games that I didn't have and bring in my like N64 memory card or my PlayStation memory card or whatever. But I would only watch the other people play the next gen stuff.
You were a little intimidated by the new stuff.
I felt like I shouldn't be allowed to touch, like, I don't know, it was like trying to be a non-troublemaker or something. I don't know. I don't know. I was a fucking stupid, pragmatic child. but I remember specifically 2 games that I was like, oh my fucking god. I was sitting there and I was playing, what's that game that Rare made where you like blow up buildings on N64?
Blast Core.
I was playing Blast Core, and I wasted my whole $1 not playing the game. I was just sitting on level 1 because I was staring at the guy next to me who was playing Sons of Liberty. Metal Gear Solid 2.
Metal Gear 2?
Yeah. And I was watching him play, I watched him play the entire Tanker chapter. And I couldn't believe that it was a video game at all. Like I couldn't.
Right.
Like I'd seen the PlayStation 2's graphics and stuff, and so that was like not something that I was like totally mind blown by. But Metal Gear Solid, it's like you can shoot the ice bucket on the bar, and it like melts in real time there on the bar. Like it was like the ambition of the game blew my mind. And then sheer graphics. For 10 years, I told people the greatest graphics ever made was Rogue Squadron 2 for the GameCube. A game that was like just okay to play, but literally visually like made me think that like I was watching a Pixar movie. Like I can't believe how beautiful it was in the moment. And looking back on those games now, I can't believe that I was like, this is reality made by computers.
We're gonna feel that way about today, very soon, probably.
I think so. I mean, like already, like we were playing Miles Morales, the other day on PS5, and it's just like, oh my god! Like, look at this person's face. It's like smooth and real. Like I can't believe it. Like the light is like hitting their face in the way that it does outside. It looks like I'm like looking through a window to a person outside. It's crazy.
I think I remember a game that blew me away officially. This was like back during the day when, like, because I feel like the last generation that was like, we can't match arcades quality in terms of gameplay and graphics. But like the last generation to do that was the 16-bit generation. I feel like once we got to 32 bits, they were like, all right, we can match this shit, right?
For the most part, yeah.
And a lot of times I need a little help, even in the 32-bit generation, which is where my game comes in. Because I remember, like, at the time, nothing made me happier than the few times I would get to, like, go to the arcade and play my favorite fighting games, which are at the time were like, the fighting game that, like, miraculously blended my favorite 2 worlds of all time. I literally remember the day that I was walking up to the school. It must have been like fucking advanced placement math summer school, because there were like only a couple of us there. And I was walking past the chain link fence, and like in the distance, my friend was like, hey man, there's gonna be an X-Men versus Street Fighter. And I said, no, there's not.
Shut the fuck up.
Because that sounds like something you would make up just to fuck with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like something like on a folder that you drew yourself.
Yeah.
Right. Like, you know what I like, and you're just trying to fuck with me. And lo and behold, he had a magazine, like one of the magazine announcements. It was that picture of Ryu and Cyclops shaking hands in the title screen. And I lost my mind.
Yeah.
I lost my mind. It was my 2 favorite worlds, literally my 2 favorite worlds coming together at the time. And so when it finally came out in arcades, of course I loved it. And it was special because I wouldn't be able to get out to arcades often. But when I did, you better believe, like, I played the shit out of that game. And it was an incredible video game. So, but I never expected to be able to, like, bring that home. What's what I'm looking for? Like, with like a 1-to-1 ratio.
Right.
Like, I always figured it was going to be pared down in some way, because that's just the way things happen. And I was ready to accept the shit out of that, right?
Yeah.
But then here comes like the same friends who I thought were fucking with me. They were 2 brothers. They were the guys that like like there were a couple of us in our little tiny school who were like into video games and the like, but they were the guys that are like, all right, we're gonna import this shit, because they were serious business. Yeah, I was serious business, but they were like, they had the resources because there were 2 of them, so they could pool their resources to do some funky shit, right?
Right.
Like, they were the ones who saved up, like, who now own like a DDR machine in their fucking garage and shit. There's still those guys.
Yeah, I know a couple of guys like that.
Right. But they were like, yo, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, it came out on PlayStation, on the PSX, but it was like a weird version where the graphics weren't quite as good, but the real fucked up part was that you couldn't switch characters in the game.
Right.
Like, you know, the game was totally borked compared to the
It's just like not even
version.
really the game, yeah.
But then there was the Sega Saturn version, which was only in Japan.
That's what I was just gonna say. Yeah.
And it was in as long as you had I think like a memory cart that you put in the back of your Sega Saturn, which they had.
Yeah, the expansion memory.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they imported they had like a Japanese Sega Saturn. They imported the memory pack, and they got the imported X-Men vs. Street Fighter. And I remember going over their house and playing basically arcade perfect version of that game, like in the comfort of someone's house. And that's when I was like, we made it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We fucking made it.
Sega Saturn
And that
really
blew my
was
mind.
that console, you know? Like, it was really the one where they were like, nah, it's the same.
Yeah. It was that generation that did it. So yeah, I remember that blowing my fucking mind. That's my story.
That one and the Neo Geo were like, it's just here in your house now, bitch. Shut up.
Yep.
So, for me, it was like one of the OG Sonics I saw at my neighbor's house. And the first time I got to play it, I'm pretty sure was at a restaurant where they just gave kids Game Gears while they ate.
What?
Yeah.
The fuck?
That sounds like a Sega
Yeah.
thing.
And like that is a thing that just doesn't like you don't see that anymore. Or it like probably wouldn't fly anywhere.
Sega of America, man. That shit was the Wolf of Wall Street. They wanted everyone to play Sega, no matter what it was. They would do crazy shit like that all the time.
But yeah, I thought it was wild that I could play like Sonic while I was eating, or like while we were waiting for food, because it was so boring and it felt like forever.
Do you remember which Sonic game it was?
No, I don't.
Interesting. So it wasn't even the fact like you weren't over somebody's house that blew your mind. It was the fact that you were like in a place of business and you were like, some Game Gear while you wait, sir.
Maybe a little both.
It looks so much better than Game Boy.
Hey, it
It was
does
just
what
like
Nintendo
different and wild and awesome.
Always wanted a Game Gear, never had one.
My cousin Derek had the Nomad, which was even more amazing.
I never want to talk about the Nomad again.
Why?
Because it breaks my heart. Like, I told you that story, didn't I?
Yeah.
I must have.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know the story. It just breaks my heart.
It was a good console, guys. If you see one and you got the money and you're a retro collector, give it a spin.
This fucking giant Pop-Tart's been barreling down on you this whole game.
So the only way I can push it back up is with diagonals or like sequences of more than 3.
Huh.
But the best is combos. If you
Sure.
can make a thing happen and then another thing happens, like
Right.
you'll actually lose green bar.
What is the green bar?
You'll lose green Birdo bar and you'll add green Wario bar.
What is green bar? Like, what does that do?
It just when it moves to the next, it cues the next character.
Oh. And what happens
So, like-
when a different character is up?
So with Wario, I get more monsters that fall, and the Pop-Tart comes at me.
Gotcha, dude. Gotcha.
With Birdo, it's like, okay, I'm showing you when when Wario's coming. You better be ready.
I gotcha. So Birdo's like neutral, like you're okay. You're okay.
This is
Oh, man.
fascinating.
Yes, thank you.
There is a sound effect in this game that sounds like Zubat's cry.
Yes, I've been hearing it.
Yeah.
With that little like weird like fake bass note in there.
It's like a little screechy somewhere.
Yeah. I want to be clear. I don't think this game in particular is like any better than any other game. It's just the mental like peace that it brings me watching somebody who's good at something do a complicated thing that I don't understand.
A little bit hypnotic, right?
Like, you ever watch videos of a guy like street vendors like cooking shit really fast?
Sure.
Oh yeah.
That shit makes me
Yeah,
hype.
that's all you watch whenever you come to my house.
That shit makes me hype. That's the end of the night cool down.
Yeah.
I know that there's gotta be some people out there that enjoy our show that just got a very exciting view into your guys' lives that they've never gotten before.
Yeah, that's the kind of raunchy debauchery that me and Jirard engage in when cameras aren't rolling.
Raunch and debauchery.
Raunch and donchery.
It sounds like a Simpsons line.
Raunch and debauchery. Raunch and debauchery. All right.
Plan.
How close are you to beating this, Ted?
It could go south at any moment, but I might be able to pull this off.
Feeling pretty good?
I think he might be able to do it, dude.
Let's
I
give him
want
a
to see if he can do it.
Let's give him a shot to pull it off.
I'm feeling pretty
Let's do another
groovy
question,
right
Alex.
I don't know if we have time for that.
I got one left.
One left.
Is it a simple one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cody Fleming asks, is there a specific game mechanic that gets shown in promotional material that immediately makes you go, yeah, I need that now? Example, any RPG with a job class system piques my interest a lot more.
Oh, fuck. I almost had it.
Yes, matter of fact, like any fighting game where like transparency is clear, like whether it's clear that they're trying to like make transparency a priority.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, like not necessarily like it doesn't have to be tutorial, but it's like, hey, we're letting you know that this has armor because it's like it's a color that doesn't show up anywhere else in the game unless it has armor.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like the player knows what's going on easily so that it's easy to like understand the mechanics eventually.
Yes. Like it's not opaque.
Yeah.
It's not opaque.
I'm with you.
Speaking of which, I've been playing this fucking browser game. It's a browser fighting game.
Okay.
Which sounds fucking weird, but I've been playing for 2 days and it's amazing and I love it. It's called Tough Love Arena. If you just Google Tough Love Arena,
Yeah.
have fun, motherfuckers. It's incredible.
I'm color me interested, to be honest.
It's really good.
I'll tell you what I always break for, and I don't think this is a surprise to anyone.
Okay.
Dragon
Any
Quest.
sort of straightforward 2D platformer, like a Castlevania Mega Man type game. I'm there. In 2021, you would be surprised how hard it is to find good turn-based, straightforward turn-based battling with no extra mechanics built in that make it so that you can't like do nothing and like fuck around while you play the game. You know what I mean? Like Dragon Quest is hardcore. If you don't press anything, nothing happens. That's what I want.
Yeah, like you're saying like nowadays it's rare to find an RPG that is literally like will literally go as slow or fast as you go.
Yes, exactly.
I got you.
Exactly.
Good call. Okay.
And then
Jirard and Ted?
any sort of Igavania type game I'm there for too. Like Bloodstained is crack for me.
Oh man. I think for me it comes down to I love crossover mechanics. Like if you take a mechanic from one game and put it to another and it works, that just makes me so hype.
Can you give us one example?
Trying to think. What's a good one that I want to use an example? Man, I'm blanking on it right now.
That's okay. You can take time to think about it, Ted. You want to tell us yours?
What was the question again?
Basically, like, what's one mechanic you can see advertised for a game where you go, well, now I gotta play it?
One mechanic. It's funny because I don't like Dark Souls games, but when I hear it's got a Souls mechanic, I'm like, okay.
Which Souls
could be
mechanics?
good.
You mean like if you die, you leave your experience behind, you gotta go get it? That type of thing?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
And that, yeah, every like the enemies aren't gonna be easy.
So what game does that? You say you don't like Dark Souls, but you like that kind of stuff. So what game did you play that's like that you
I'll
like?
tell you which game right the fuck now that he never stopped. It's like his other Wario's Woods. It's fucking the
What is
Surge.
it? Oh, okay.
Yep. Surge 1 and 2 and Fallen Order and Sekiro.
Yeah, Sekiro is fucking legit, dude.
Yeah.
Jirard, did you think of an example?
I changed my answer. Anything with the meter.
With a what?
With a super meter.
Anything with a super meter?
Yeah.
All right, I feel you.
Yeah.
It's the reason it's because you feel like you got that ace up your sleeve, and you always feel good about it. Like if you're being destroyed in the game and you're like, "Here comes the super," and you come back and you're like, "Hell yeah!" You should have seen that coming, but you didn't.
I feel that. I can understand that. For
I totally get that.
Those are some good questions, man.
Yeah, everybody really like went deep on this last one.
And we appreciate if you submitted questions. We appreciate you taking the time to do that. You made the series better. Thank you, man.
Yeah, and along those lines, guys, thank you for letting us do this for a month. It's been a very fun little, chill zone relaxathon. Doesn't feel like work. It's good. It's good vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real.
I hope you guys
All right.
enjoyed this. I hope you guys got some value out of this if you sat and watched this. I hope you see what we're going for.
Thanks for voting for this series where I could actually force Alex to experience Warriors.
Here we are. I'm forever changed. I'm so glad.
Seems tight.
I'm
Not
so
gonna
glad
lie.
I did. It's really like going forward gonna mean so much to the way I live my life. Anyway, guys, this has been Beard Bowl Comfort Games. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll be back next week with another series on Super Beard Bowl. Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So here we are, once again. Bearded men have reached the end. Well, I don't know what comes next. All I know is you made it this far, this is your end card. See you next episode, hope you enjoyed the show. The Beard Bros.